Now, I found the manager of Fnatic, Harry Wiggett. Now, Harry, you must be a very happy camper, because what performances Fnatic is throwing out?
Yeah, it's really good right now for us. Top of the leaderboard, couldn't be better.
Absolutely, but last year wasn't as good, or last season, sorry to say, you were the Season 1 champions, but then you had a lot going on last year. You had Shushe, Reckles, Lamia retiring. Guide us through that.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of lineup changes last year in Season 2, and it wasn't a good season for us. A lot of tough times, but we've pulled through, and now we're at the top of our game again, and we couldn't be happier with that.
Can you talk us through a little bit of how you went from being like middle tier team in Season 2 to back on your top form? What happened? What changed?
We had a lot of boot camps before events, which really helped us, and we finally got a more stable lineup. Unfortunately, that didn't include Shushe. We had to release him, and we brought in Soaz, and after a few months, it really started to pay off, and the team were really playing well together. And then we had some more lineup changes, with Lamia retiring after Season 2 regionals. And then we had a few months of some bad times since we didn't have an AD. And then we found Reckless, and we pretty much made our name again. And we became a really big team once again.
Yeah, Reckles was a big factor in that, but of course, you know, the known problems that he couldn't play in Season 3, so how did you go from there?
Yeah, it was risky going with Reckless, and we didn't really have much choice at the time. We kind of hoped that Riot would give an exception or something for Reckless, but they wouldn't budge. But luckily, Yellowstar was free at the time, and of course, with his history with Soaz and Enrated, there was no question that we had to pick him up. And obviously, after a couple months, it's paid off, and the AAA factor in Fnatic is in full swing.
It was a bit reckless to go for Reckless, so to say.
Yeah.
But you ended up great with Yellowstar. Mm-hmm. From your point of view, how do you think it is that Yellowstar is doing better in Fnatic, both the team and the group, than he did in SK? And that he found, you know, the time for it?
I think his relationship with the Fnatic players is better than in SK, and his experience with the team is better. They've all known each other since before Season 1 finals. They played each other in the finals, and they know each other really well, and he's really motivated in Fnatic, and in the house we all get along super well, and yeah, I think he's just more motivated with us, and he's put in all the effort he can into becoming the best.
Yeah, he said there's a really good atmosphere in the house. Really seems to the viewers as well. There's like never anything going on beneath the surface. Is that the case?
I'm going to say yes. No, it's okay. There's never really any arguments in the house so far. There's probably going to be a few, but I think that's normal. We're pretty much a family, and families argue. When we're living together, there's going to be some arguments, but so far it's been fine.
Going deeper into your role specifically, what kind of a manager are you? Are you one that, you know, takes care of the daily routine, more strategies, the business end of things?
It's more of the business end of things. I arrange their schedule, help promote them, and interact with the fans, and basically keep them playing every day and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, and waking them up. Yeah, I'm basically their mom, I think. But it's good fun, and we all get along really well. But I leave the strategies and stuff to them. I trust them on that. Obviously, there's no reason to interfere. So.
Is that 100%? Now, for instance, when you go through lineups changes, do you have any say in that?
I have a little say. I let them come with the names of who they want to pick up, and then because I know a lot of the players in the European scene especially, and I know some players perhaps change lineups quite a lot, and maybe it's not a good move for us to pick them players up, but we always go with the right choice, and I don't think we've ever picked up a player that we regret, and I don't think we ever would.
You seem like you're a very good friend of these guys' family, you say. Does that create some problems when you have to lay down the law?
Sometimes, yeah. I've been with them since before Season 1 finals, so nearly 2 years now. So it's a very friendly relationship, but it's also a business relationship as well. So they have to listen sometimes, and I have to listen to them sometimes. But living with them, it has to be mutual, and we stay friends all the time. And so, but sometimes it's a little, come on, do it. Okay.
Very question you get a lot from people who want to break into the business. They want to go pro or just be a manager. How did you break into the business?
I started off doing news writing in Dota, and eventually got into League of Legends in Fnatic, doing news writing as well, and then got asked to be their manager since I had some manager experience in Dota teams. And at the time, the League of Legends team wasn't so big, and then suddenly Season 1 finals came and it all blew up and it became a full-time job, and they decided to stick with me, and here I am now.
Absolutely. And a competitive aspect, how do you see your team doing in the rest of Super Week? What do you think about the top teams that they're going to face?
I think the only threat we have this weekend is Gambit Gaming, but we're going to continue to study them hard tonight and come at them with our best tomorrow. I think we can win if we do that.
Is it a dream come true for you as well, as it is for the players, to be here?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's more to come in my career here, so we'll see, but it's definitely the place I want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Harry. And now that I'm here in the audience, I'm going to talk to Fred a little bit. Hi, Fred. Who did you come here to support today?
Yeah, I come here to support EG, and especially Yellow Pete, but yeah, they did not win. I'm a little bit sad.
Support Yellow Pete, is he a fellow countryman of you? Oh.
Yeah, because he's my fellow countryman. And yeah, he is quite shy and not so fabulous as Ocelot.
Fabulous?
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, you know, skill is most important, or is presence most important to you? Oh.
Thanks for the support, man.
Wow. Normally I never ask this, but how did that feel?
Yeah, great.
Now, do you think EG has what it takes to beat Gambit and other top teams along the line?
Yeah, of course, if they don't ban so much Froggen. He is one of the best mid players in the world, so if they ban his Lux, his Anivia, what should he do?
Are you going pro one day, Fred?
Oh, maybe.
What do you play?
Support, OP Tariq.
Well, you know, if Crepo ever decides to stop, I think you got a spot next to LP.
Maybe.
Thank you very much. Now, good talk here, but it's time to dive into our last game of the day. The Wolves are going to face against All Authority. What a matchup.
What a matchup indeed this should prove to be, Jason. Copenhagen Wolves. It's only got worse for them as time's gone on. 0 for 9 now. Is it double figures by the end of the day?
No, they are going to do it. They are going to win this game. I can feel it. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to feel bad. But still, I have high hopes for them. They can do it. They've shown before that they can be a very strong team. It's just about closing that game out. And today, when we saw them play earlier, they looked pretty good. It's just about finishing.
About finishing, I mean, we've seen these two teams meet already last week, actually, not so long time ago, so things probably going to be fresh in their mind from that one. Obviously, they had Bjergsen there as well, but we'll have to see how this one goes for them, because as you said, they're 0 for 9, which doesn't really tell the whole story. If there were points for, you know, doing well but not winning the game, they'd certainly have a lot of them by now. But, you know, you only get the points for winning the games, which is something that they've struggled and failed to do up until this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much that crucial point where if you just keep losing, it's gonna be a downward spiral, because you really have to talk about how it affects you as a team and also as a player. I mean, that's really... Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, and it really kind of makes you feel bad, because you want to win, and you want to prove to everyone that you're a great team, and you have so many fans behind you, you know, backing you up, and you're trying to meet their expectations and trying to prove to them and make them feel better about being a fan of yours.
Well, we're going to take a look here at the two lineups that we can expect from Copenhagen Wolves and, of course, against All Authority. On the blue side, it will be the Wolves with Nigod Bro, Svensker and Bjergsen, the Tess and Deficio.
And in the red corner, Freddy122, Virtual Schleya, Nono, who always looks so happy. I know I mentioned that earlier, but he really does, and Corralius.
Yeah, both of these teams, they have the talent. The problem is, do they have that next extra little step, which the biggest teams, the best teams in the world have right now, and it's about bridging that gap.
And we do have to mention that they don't have their game in-house just yet. It actually happens next week, so I'll get to move in together and finally be able to practice, because over these last couple of weeks, they haven't really been able to just sit down and train, because they've had people with school, they've had work and stuff like that, so they weren't really able to get down and get gritty and really just kind of get used to playing with Bjergsen again.
And one thing that Against All Authority have, I'm assuming they don't have a house right now, because every single night when I've gone home after working here till 10, 11 o'clock, sometimes later at night, they've been sat here in the studio playing and playing and playing and playing. So, you know, the conditions not amazing for some teams. We heard earlier on how it's hard to get a house here in Cologne. I mean, I've had this problem myself. I was actually, before I finally found a place to live, looking for about 3 months. It's really difficult to find somewhere here that's, you know, not completely out somewhere in the sticks, and hard to get here to the studio. So I definitely feel them on that one. But Against All Authority, making the best of a bad situation, I guess we can say.
I do have to say, though, I lived in the office for 3 weeks. It was fantastic.
Really, that good?
It was.
I never fell into that trap.
You know, waking up and
until now.
just walk into the office. You know, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to commute. It's so nice.
You're actually at home when you're at work, which is always a good thing either way. So let's take a more in-depth look then at these two teams, see what they've got to offer for us. First up, the Copenhagen Wolves. As we said, they are 0-9 right now, hoping not to go into double figures, and we pick out the jungler Svenskeren.
You know, he's a very solid jungler. It's just like he hasn't caught that break he really needs. He hasn't really been able to affect his lanes in a way to get them to snowball. I mean, he's been playing a lot of new champions. He's been playing a lot of Cho, a lot of Lee Sin, a lot of Xin, even Volibear. Right when he saw Diamond Break, that I started practicing that up. I mean, just overall, he's a really good player, and I hope to see him in this game actually kind of affect how the lanes are going to go.
Yeah, obviously, last match of the day, this would be a great one for Copenhagen Wolves to pick up their first one. Yeah. But, of course, their opponents in this Against All Authority, this time we pick out No, who, as you said, he just looks so happy all the time. He's got an infectious smile. I just want to smile every time I look at his picture.
And the last time these... Yeah, very true. But the last time these two teams met, Deficio was on Thresh, and we had No on Ezreal, and he got caught out multiple times and blown up before the fight even began. He has to kind of stray away from that. Even we saw last week where he kind of just seems to overextend and then gets killed, and it kind of works very badly for his team. But, you know, if he starts to play a little more passive instead of being so aggressive, and you know, Arcane shifted in when he's playing Ezreal, he should be a very strong AD carry.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that these two lineups are full of top-level players. It's all about them coming together as a team and being able to, you know, turn an advantage into a victory at the end of the day, which we've seen from both teams has been a little bit of a struggle up until now. Of course, our game is about to start here. The players right now joining the game. But first, we're going to take a look to see what they had to say earlier on.
Wolves have 0-8, but you have to think about what weeks they had. First 2 weeks they didn't have their main player, so they had to play a lot of hard games against good teams. They can still win games. A team that is up against the wall has nothing to lose. It's the scariest team, I think.
AAA's strongest player is probably their top laner, Freddy. But our own top laner is very good, like early game and lane-wise, so I think he's going to manage him fine. We're definitely going to beat AAA because Nigarbro is a better top laner than Freddy, so bring it on.
Confidence from the Copenhagen Wolves. We're definitely going to be Against All Authority. And, you know, the great thing is Corelli is saying the scariest teams are the ones that are playing without pressure. It's arguable to say whether Copenhagen Wolves really are playing without pressure. They're 0-9. They got nothing to lose, but they still have the weight of needing that first win.
And they have everything to gain off of that. I mean, just the confidence boost of winning that first game. And we saw how it worked with Vulcan over in ACLS. They won that first game, won the next two right after that, went 3-0 that week. And even with Marn, I mean, I think I can safely say that, you know, they beat CLG, they beat TSM. They're looking like a really strong team, and the confidence you get from that really affects you, not just personally, but overall as your whole team mood.
Yeah, and it is still early in the season, but with 28 games to play, if he goes 0-10, you know, those double figures are a scary place to be. If they hit 0-10 here, they're going to be feeling completely downtrodden. But we're about to get into Champion Select here. Before we kick that one off, Jason, who's your money with?
I'm going to have to give it to Wolves. I think this is their time. I really have high hopes for them. Against Authority is a very strong team, but Wolves, you know, they're hungry for their first win, and I think they can get it today.
Well, we are going to get into that Champion Select here. The band's already coming out with Copenhagen Wolves taking out Sona.
Yeah, that is really hilarious because Corrales is 100% so far with Sona, so this is going to be the first time we're going to see him on a new support. And, of course, that Lux ban targeted over towards Bjergsen right there.
Yep, looks not really a surprise coming out for that one. Don't want Bjergsen to have his hands on that one. Next ban coming out will be Nidalee. And, you know, we've seen it being played in the middle, but we also know that Freddy can play that Nidalee in the top lane as well.
And it was all about Schleya last week, though, because those spears completely opened up those games for him. And, I mean, we've seen it over... Well, actually, we've seen Nidalee pretty much every single week, and that one spear, that one hit can really get you into a fight and really turn the game around, especially when you're 30, 40 minutes in where they really hurt. As well, the Kayle being banned out here. And Copenhagen Wolves, what are they going to take out last? Because, well, as I was trying to go into it, they take out Shen, which has been a nuisance today, Joe. It really has been split pushing so often, and those ultimates coming in, you know, landing that 4-person taunt, which we saw Gambit versus EG, it really can turn the tides of the game.
We've seen some brilliant Shen play today, actually. Some really fantastic performances. Not going to see that in the final game of the day, though. But what will the final ban of Against All Authority be in this one moving
I think they take
forward?
Thresh out. He was really perfect. Let's say he was really troublesome for Nono last game when they played, and Diffusio landed. Even though he wasn't aiming for him, I mean, I think in the end he was, but he was aiming towards the support, but would catch Nono every time. It's like Nono's like, ooh, a shiny, and walks right into it. But they were able to kill him, and it looks like Vi actually might be picked up here. Wouldn't be actually a bad champion for him. I was just going to say that, Renekton on the top lane.
How often have we seen that? Vi's open, blue team say, bam, Vi, that's what we want in there. And then you think Renekton being highly played in both continents up until now. Xin Zhao being a big ban or pick in pretty much every single game up until now as well. So it's really no surprise, these 3 picks for my money.
And actually, last time these two teams met, they ran the same combo, Renekton, Xin Zhao. So, yeah, they were like, hey, you know what, last game we played, we beat you pretty
broken.
Yeah,
why
don't fix it? So you might see the Orianna come out, the Ezreal, but the support. That's what I'm really curious to see is how well Corrales can play a different support because we haven't seen him. Even I believe in the qualifiers, he didn't play anything but Sona.
Yeah, he is a big fan of Sona, I think we can safely say at this point of the tournament. But not today. That's not going to be there for him. I'm interested to see what he's going to go for. There is a Singed. Love me a bit of Singed. And let's see what else they go. I mean, we've seen Godbro already playing Singed in the past as well, so we know that he is strong with it. And there is the Varus pickup for Copenhagen Wolves.
2 more picks that were in the exact last game that we saw. Virtual, I was about to say, he's hovering on teleport there for a second, a little bit interesting. And Schleya, Orianna, that's what they played last time, except they pick up a Lulu, so we might see an Ezreal as their AD carry. And Copenhagen Wolves, if they're going to stick to it, we're going to see a Syndra, and unfortunately not a Thresh, but well, obviously not a Volibear either since we do have Vi.
Yep, and actually just switching around here is Diffusio. Zyra, a champion we know that he can perform with, but what
Elise is open.
Yeah, Elise is open in this one. Not really being touched upon at this stage, and I guess, well, obviously doesn't fit into that Against All Authority lineup unless they go for something really, really funky. They're missing right now an AD carry. And it looks like Copenhagen Wolves are going to be thinking about having this Zyra to go in there with the Varus. Could, in the end of the day, also be in the middle for Bjergsen.
Yeah, and the thing is with Bjergsen, to me, he is the rock of their team. I mean, you saw unfortunately when he wasn't able to play anymore until he was 17.
Malphite pick then.
I was not going that route, but I mean, he's the rock of their team, and they haven't had a lot of practice together just yet, and it pretty much is like SK as a, oh wow, so he does go Syndra, so we have pretty much three people on Copenhagen Wolves and 3 so far as well against Authority that we saw in the last game. Maybe we're going to see that Ezreal yet again, but you know, we actually saw some amazing play out of Syndra, out of Bjergsen, and the thing is, they're on the blue team. We've seen it. It was COG. Yeah, it was Link in the mid lane. He actually put a Ghost Ward. The support put the Ghost Ward over the blue buff and then pulled the blue out and took it away, which very well could happen right now.
Well, that's one of Syndra's strongest points coming in, and we've seen it. We saw it in the last time Bjergsen played Syndra. When that AP comes in, actually does a hell of a lot of damage once the combos start landing. It looks like AD carry here 4 Against All Authority could very well be Misfortune and will be locked in there. So we have the 2 lineups then. Singed top lane, Vi in the jungle, Syndra mid lane, and a duo lane of Varus. Zyra for Copenhagen Wolves on the other side is going to be Renekton in the top lane, Xin Zhao in the jungle, Orianna for the middle lane, and a bottom lane of Misfortune and Lulu.
And Joe, both these these teams are running amazing compositions right now because you have Vi for Copenhagen Wolves. She's one of those champions who wants to go into the back line, and you need a buddy to go in there. You have to have like a buddy system where you're holding hands, and you have a Singed. I mean, that's what he does. If you're not doing that, you're not playing him correctly. So he's going to be in the back line as well. You have the CC out of Syndra Bjergsen. You have the CC out of Varus, not to mention Zyra right behind that. They have an amazing composition, but then again, against Authority, have the same thing. You have Renekton, you have Xin to get in there and get the ball delivery service, and then right after that, you have the Lulu to knock him up, and you have the bullet time happening at the same time. So this is just going to be a really explosive, and I feel bad because you're going to run out of breath probably in these team fights because there's so much action happening.
Well, Jason, I can only hope that I'll run out of breath in this one. The last two games, of course, being full of action, and, well, hopefully this one won't be, hopefully will be the icing on the cake for tonight here, the first day of the Super Weekend here in the European LCS. You can see there Copenhagen Wolves looking very, very concentrated at this point. 0 for 9, we say it over and over again, but
I'm sure they're tired of hearing it too.
Well, I'm sure they are, but they've got to fix it themselves if they don't want to hear it anymore. From Against Authority's side, it sounds harsh to Copenhagen Wolves, but it is the case that no one wants to be that team that first loses to Copenhagen Wolves.
Especially when they've already beat them once in the past, Joe. I mean, the game was actually really close. Wolves were doing pretty well, but because of Schleya's natively play in that, or sorry, it wasn't Schleya, it was, Oriana's play, the ball delivery service was perfect because Wolves would always burst down Nono on his Ezreal with Syndra, but they couldn't do anything about Oriana because he was just so fed.
So, level 1 here, Jason. Can we expect anything?
Yes, because I see ping showing it. As you see right there. I'm assuming that Copenhagen Wolves might want to go for a level 1 towards that Wraith camp, which we saw EG do last game. 4G didn't work out just that well for them. But in terms of who's stronger, having that fling on Singed is just so devastating. You have some damage out of Syndra as well. Zyra with the grasping root can really lock you down and pick up an easy kill, but then, over for Against Authority, you have that stun out of Renekton, you have the slow or the knock-up out of Xin, you have the Lulu slow as well, not to mention you have the, potentially the polymorph, which can prevent you from flashing away. And the Misfortune just does pretty heavy amount of damage. And then you have Oriana. If you need any sort of scouting, she's the person to do it with that ball.
Well, it seemed like Freddy was just having a couple of issues there with his mini-map.
Teams complaining again after playing after the Russians with all the settings being changed around.
Yeah, I mean, you need to change them back, that's for sure, because they definitely play with some interesting settings on there. But we are going to get that pause off here, and we are going to get back into the game. It's Copenhagen Wolves versus Against All Authority, our final game here on the Friday night of Super Weekend. And up until now, I tell you what, it's not just been super in terms of the amount of games. The action has been brilliant.
Yeah, it really has indeed. And one of the interesting things we've noticed so far is that Schleya actually picked up a ward. Was that a ghost ward? No, that was actually a real ward. So he's going heavy utility tree. It looks, or not heavy utility tree, but he's going for that start where he's going to go for a tier. And you want to get that ward coverage, just prevent any sort of invade going into that Wraith camp. And I like the ward on that tri-bush because, and the one by the tri-bush is that, Krepo mentioned when he was on the show, how vulnerable that spot is and how many teams don't take advantage of that. So it looks like they're listening and are going to try to prevent any sort of invade.
There's a ward in the south of the river. And, well, in terms of coverage, Against All Authority have locked off all 4 entrances into their side of the jungle. So they're going to know everything early on.
What team was that earlier that was playing? You and Quickshot were casting. We saw 4 wards go down as well.
That was 2 games ago. That was... oh God, Jason!
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many games. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
My brain.
We have seen that before today.
My brain is very short term. Let's call it that. Bit of a goldfish brain, actually. But we are seeing here Against All Authority kicking things off here on the Wraiths. And now they move it back. Here's Dragonborns versus Fnatic. Now it's come back to me. See, it takes a while to dig into the archives of history, even though it was only a couple of hours ago. Copenhagen Wolves starting here with Svenskeren on that blue buff, and actually will take it with the smite.
And we have Freddy and Virtual, even and Nono, both starting with crazy amount of armor pen. We have 17 each on Xin and Renekton, and we have 14 over on Misfortune. I've been talking about this before because it's really, oh wow, Deficio getting very low just on level 1 action. That's not good for him. Only running that 2 health pots, it looks like there, and that biscuit. And you can't afford to do that right now because any level 1 damage you get on when you don't have a sustain lane, which currently neither of them have, is going to pretty much put you in a really bad place when you hit level 2. Like, no, now level 2, they could put on a lot of pressure since the test hasn't hit 2 yet, and looks like they're going for that in fact, and just trying to pressure Deficio out because Zyra is very squishy.
Yeah, but there we see the grasping root coming down. Nono trying to bully the Tess away, and when he's level 2 as well, with that blighted quiver in there, he can put down a lot of damage very, very quickly. And, probably an amount that you're not going to be expecting. And it's hard to calculate exactly from Varus what he's going to be able to hit you with over and over. As the pink wall goes down in that bottom side, Deficio says, well, you're not going to be able to annoy me that much anymore, Lulu, because your poke is ridiculous. Top lane, let's have a look at that. Singe versus Renekton. They are both level on the CS at this point. We see the red elixir being picked up by Freddy. Pretty standard start there as the fling will knock Freddy up into the turret. Actually got the stun down, and that is a big amount of damage. Obviously, turrets, they hurt at this level. Yeah,
and Freddy got lucky that Godbro wasn't running that igniter. That would have been that first blood right there. And Joe, we actually do have Xin coming down towards his bottom lane. Virtual trying to go in for a gank here. Won't be spotted by a ward, but it's Zyra. You have those plants as long as you use it, so you can spot that entire bush. It's gonna prevent any ganks from coming in. We do have a pink ward as well on Copenhagen Wolf's side of that bush. And that was making me think that Svenskeren might come in for a gank, but in fact he didn't.
Oh, Corrales getting rooted up there, but wow, those plants. Wolves, yeah, the plants really, really hurt at this stage, as we are going to see Svenskeren get in there. Didn't quite manage to land the distance with that Vault Breaker. And we remain first bloodless after 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Early CS, pretty much bang even across the board. Singe starting to get a bit of a lead in the top.
Yep, but we do have something key. Virtual did pick up that Razor, that Madrid's Razor, which really gives him that quick clear in the jungle, so he'll be around the map ganking a lot more. We saw Diamond procs on him last game, just pull off an amazing Xin Zhao, and I believe Virtual can give us that kind of show. Only problem is, Renekton's already shown, Freddy's already shown that he kind of can't really beat Godbro at this point. I mean, he dove in a little bit too far, took too many hits from the turret, and Singe, once he gets going, he's really hard to stop. Oh, Corrales there again, taking a good amount of damage from Deficio, and both of these support players can put good damage down when they get their abilities in that right place. So, bit of a volatile bottom lane that we'll certainly have to keep an eye on. Xin Zhao actually headed in towards the top lane right now, and as I say that, he decides to turn away and head back in towards his own side of the jungle. Yeah, he kind of thought he was spotted by a ward, but in fact he wasn't. Godbro was just running away to be a Singe, just put the gas down as the minions run into it, so he's gonna go back to his double golems and eventually come around in for a gank. Both junglers been a little bit passive, but Svenskeren has been the more aggressive one. Coming back into this mid lane, it's like he's trying to create an opportunity here, try to get an early kill on Schleia because he was so deadly last time on Orianna. Well, can they lock him down? There comes the stunning. Can they finish this one off? They needed that igniting position, and now Virtual coming around the side. He's going to knock Svenskeren up there, but knows that he doesn't have the damage to finish off the actual kill. And while it remains 10, still no kills, but Svenskeren looks like he's not done just yet, heading up through that jungle. Oh, it looks like he actually might be heading towards his top lane since we do have Freddy kind of overextended, but that's the power of Vi, just how much damage you do. As he is actually going around the backside, he's just being a little sneaky here, trying to go into this bot lane. Yeah, headed around completely there, up towards the Wolf. Xin Zhao, he's going to just put a ward down there on that side as Freddy. Oh, almost getting ganked out there by Bjergsen. Godbro did take turret hits there, which actually forced him away. And again, frantic pings on the bottom side of the jungle. We're going to see Vi here being hit in the face pretty much. This is going to be a full-on face check from Virtual into the bush. There is Deficio in the test coming around. Virtual has made an absolute hash of this, but they get first blood. Nicely done. Can they get any more? No in the test, go head-to-head. No going to flash away. Where's the Tessa's flash? He doesn't go over there. And that will be one kill apiece. And the kills coming down for Zyra and for Xin Zhao. I'm just astonished at that play. That was I was expecting Virtual just to die with nothing else happening, but he came in with the audacious charge on a Deficio, picked him up, and that is why Zyra is so squishy. And Joe, looking about what happened in the mid lane with Bjergsen heading towards the top, I'm a little bit surprised actually that he went for that, trying to go for that kill onto Freddy, onto Renekton, when Godbro's not having a tough time at all in that lane. He could have been in lane, gotten level 6 before Schleia, and then just punished him really, really bad. But we do see the Chalice picked up on Schleia, so he's just trying to sustain that harass a little bit, and not to mention keep that mana up so he can harass Bjergsen back. Want to receive here from the AD carries again. We're going to see that Avarice Blade coming out, something that's developed seemingly overnight for us here, to be honest. With that double Doran's Blade in, BF Sword, and a single Doran's Blade over for Varus, who has a 13 CS lead. In the middle, Orianna got a slight lead. Top lane, pretty much bang even, as we are going to see blue buff gifted over here onto Schleier's Orianna. I'm trying to think if it was Genja or Wei Zhao that was the first ones to run ninja tabbies on their boots, and then a couple people started following suit. Genja. It was Genja? Okay, and then he's probably one of the first ones to run that Avarice Blade and coming back with it yet again. Or other people starting to copy it because they realize it's a really smart play. Bjergsen taking no damage in that mid lane right there. That was a
an interesting matchup there. The Shockwave, I guess, just trying to force him out of lane more than anything else, as Blue Buff here is going to be giving over to Bjergsen, but you saw how much damage he took. It was almost exactly none.
Almost exactly 0, yeah. And I'm just as surprised as you are, because it really seemed out of place, but maybe you wanted to force him out of lane just so they can deny the blue buff away from him, which ended up picking up anyways. The bot lane, though, we do have Deficio and the Test both, or sorry, Deficio isn't level 6 just yet, but is almost. And that is a really scary lane to go up against. Yeah, you have the Lulu knockup, but you have a lockdown with the Varus ultimate, and then the Zyra knockup right after that with the grasping roots. You can really lock someone down, especially when they don't have flash or an escape like Nono.
Yeah, and there's no ignite whatsoever in this bottom lane in this matchup. We should probably note that one. So no real finisher of a move there. Svenskron is going to come in. There's the ultimate, lands onto Nono. Vault Breaker comes in. He's rooted as well. The combo from Copenhagen Wolves will give them a 2-1 lead. Godbro in the top lane actually took a lot of damage as well while that was going on. And it looks like Copenhagen Wolves, they're going to turn around and go towards Dragon.
And Svenskron making a really big impact on this game. Made his presence known in the mid lane, been towards the bottom now twice. And with this Dragon, it's given a nice little bit of a lead, but they are in danger of losing that top turret. We need to see Godbro head up there as quick as possible, because if they lose that turret for the Dragon, I don't think it's going to benefit the Wolves in the end, because they've been having a hard time converting an early advantage into a win, and if they lose that turret, it's going to force them into an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, certainly will do, as we see Singe there picking up the Catalyst, heading up towards that Rod of Ages.
Yeah, we've actually seen some, in North America, Singe is more primarily played. I mean, actually, well, after the week we saw him, I think it was week 2, we saw in week 3 a lot of people playing him, but we've seen actually a lot of different builds on him, where we've seen a tier as a first item, because you can stack with their poison, very easy to stack that, not to mention the Archangel Staff, and then the, wow, I forgot the name.
Xerath's Embrace.
Thank you, Joe. Xerath's Embrace, to give him that nice bit of shield when he's trying to run around, and not to mention the damage on top of that.
So in that bottom lane, we just saw another bit of damage being exchanged. Actually, the bottom lane of the Tess and Deficio did go back. Vamp Scepter picked up there by the Tess, and we are seeing the Philostone Doran Shield start coming out from Deficio, which is, you know, what Crepo talked to us about last week. Brilliant set of items here, and look at Godbro. He's up there on that top side, and he's going to be a Singe.
Yeah, and that's the most annoying part about him, is that he draws so much attention away into that lane for the enemy team that you have to kind of deal with him, because if you don't keep him in check, he's going to get so strong. And that really forces Virtual to kind of to visit that lane, which then gives the bot lane and the mid lane that free time to harass. They know the jungler's not going to be around that lane much, and if he is, their top lane's going to get super fed. So overall, I mean, just looking at, you know, the CS, look at the kills right now, Copenhagen Wolves looking very strong at this point. Oh, no. Just dodge. Actually, we do have a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, Bjergsen might be in trouble for this one. Let's see if they can get in there. Shockwave will land right on top of Virtual's head. Really nicely done there. That's a kill back here for Against All Authority. Can they get any more here down in the bottom? We see a very low, the Test running back. They can't quite get in on top of him. But still, as I said, this bottom lane definitely volatile.
That ball delivery system, Joe, is just insane, because you give Xin that little speed up. You have, oh, actually, you might see Deficio go down there as a little bit aggressive, but the speed up for Xin, then the I can't even speak
Audacious
now.
charge.
Nice, thank you, Joe. On top of that, not to mention the knockup plus the pull-in, it's just so hard to escape that as anyone in a 1v2 situation. And later, as the game progresses, it's going to be that much more deadly, as Schley has already proven himself to be an amazing Orianna. It looks like he's going for a Rod of Ages as well, just to kind of be a little bit tanky that his team's going to need, since you have Singed, you have Vi to dive in towards the back.
Yeah, half of the problem is getting the ball in the right place and, you know, activating it when it needs to be activated. But either way, we are seeing the Tess and Deficio now starting to put some damage down onto this turret, and by some, I mean, not very much. They didn't have many minions there with them, but you can see the pressure onto the two champions in that bottom lane is high, and is still maintaining that 10 or so CS lead here, the Tess.
And I think it's already has a kill and assist over him, which, you know, he's at 4,200 gold total to the 3,400 on Nono, so that is a big gold difference discrepancy at this point in the game. We do have the Average Blade, though, for Nono to kind of catch up. He already has, I believe it's 200 gold stacked up from it, which You know, he hasn't had that long. I think it's only been a couple of minutes, and that's a lot of gold to kind of build up to. Oh, this is going to be deadly. But we have Zin coming in for a counter gank, though.
This could be an interesting play coming out. Bjergsen actually going to get hit there with the ball. Here comes Sinchao. The Vault Breaker comes around. Svenskeren going to nail Virtual down, but, well, Svenskeren's going to have to back away, or at least try to back away from this one. Good damage from Orianna, but can they finish it off? Command Protect is down. They're going to go for it. Svenskeren has to flash away. Virtual flashes in there and picks up the kill. And actually, we see Bjergsen around the side. Good damage back, but Slayer may pick this one up as we see Godbro coming down. The poison's on. The flip comes in. You can't get away from a Singe. This is a dead Slayer as he gets the Command Protect in. Flash over the top, and there was Syndra over the top of the wall as well. Great play out of the Wolves.
And that is the old school flippity floppy that we all enjoy of Sin, just running around, getting those kills, and that is huge because it's going to help him get that Raw to Ages a lot sooner. He's sitting on 2,000 gold, so he can buy it when he goes back. And Bjergsen, I mean, he escaped by the skin of his teeth right there, and unfortunately for Svenskeren, he realized how strong Virtual is right now because he's he was 2-1 at that point. Now he's 3-2. He's just so tanky with not many items to back it up. The Madrid's Razor and then the Lock of the Iron Solari is just really allowing Virtual to be kind of pseudo-tanky with that shield.
Yeah, we've seen Lockett coming out of Diamond. I mean, Intel Extreme Masters Katowice as well. We primarily saw him going for that pretty much exclusively in the early stages. We see Godbro in that top lane getting the flip onto Freddy once again. He's just running circles here. He's just being the typical annoying Singe. And Freddy probably doing the best thing here, which is you just got to try and ignore him.
And try to, push his lane into him, kind of make him miss CS. And Joe, look how this game progresses on. Varus, I understand why he's such a strong pick nowadays, because you're going against teams that have a top laner who builds a Warmogs, builds a Sunfire Cape, and most 80s carries can't respond to that until they get that last Whisper. But with Varus, it kind of lets you bypass that somewhat because you do that % health damage with your Blight stacks, so it's a very strong pick, and if Freddy tries to go into the back line against him, the test should be able to take him on a lot earlier than most 80 carries could.
If we look down, one thing that we didn't touch on, but I did just notice, the kill distribution right now for Copenhagen Wolves across the board. Vi, the only one with no kill, but got the 2 assists in there. On the other side, the 3 kills for Against All Authority, all with that Sinchao, which has allowed him to get in there and pick up that Locket early on. Got a 700 gold lead right now as well.
You know, I love how you bring that up, because I didn't even notice until you mentioned it, but that is a really bad stacking of kills for Against All Authority, because, yeah, they have someone who can be tanky, but they need the damage. I mean, their whole comp is based around CCM long enough that you can kill them with the bullet time, with the damage from Orianna's ultimate. But with Copenhagen Wolves spraying those kills out nicely, we have Singe picks up his Raw to 8. Oh, we do see Bjergsen getting ganked in the mid lane yet again.
In a lot of trouble here. The root will come down, but it's not going to be enough to save him. Bjergsen will die from that one. There is the kill starting to move around. And that's one thing that even talking about his kill distribution, that with Virtual getting stronger early on, is going to help distribute those kills in, the later the game goes on, as well as Dragon is going to get pulled out. The Test will throw the Q straight through Against All Authority. Freddy got the ball on his head, ready to dive in the middle of them, but that Shockwave, of course, isn't up right now. He was using that last encounter, but it's 5 versus 4 here nonetheless, as the Dragon is down to less than half HP. Can they take it down? Against All Authority, going to engage. Zyra knockup, going to get 3 of them in there. Varus ulti is down as well. There's the Lulu ulti. Svenskeren's going to die. Godbro goes very low, but Freddy is a dead man here. Double kill for Varus. Bjergsen pushing down. Can he get a double of his own? There's the 1. The root will miss. Triple kill for Varus. And there is the finisher for Syndra. Ace for Copenhagen Wolves.
So well played by Wolves right there. I was about to say this could be either a huge mistake or a huge success for them. They were about to engage, and it looked like Dragon was going to go down. And it's at that point where if you're not going to stop them from getting Dragon, what's the point of engaging? But they stopped that. They're going to pick up a turret. They picked up an ace. Wolves looking so strong. And look at the kills, how it's distributed yet again. Singe picked up his 4 assists right there. We have 4 kills now on the Test, who was already strong before. And now you have 3 kills on Bjergsen with that beautiful teleport to get back into that fight.
That was nice as well. Deficio just putting the plant down to tank up that few seconds before the minions actually got into that as well. And that will be 2 turrets off the back of that. And the thing is, the Dragon is still there for the taking as well.
I don't think they've noticed. Actually, no, they do notice it at the last second. Looks like as the Test is heading down towards that way. He has a Bloodthirster, and look how much gold he's sitting on at this point. We're 17 minutes in, and he has 2,400 gold to spend when he goes back. So we could see, well, pretty much any item. We could see that static shift coming out fairly shortly. But against Authority, I mean, they're taking advantage of this. They did have a ward down, and they saw that Copenhagen Wolves was going to back away, and this is this is a fight that they can't afford to go for. Wolves have to concede this dragon and just take that ace and go with it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a 5k gold lead as we see Svenskeren start to charge up there. Actually went back in the other direction into the safety of his own jungle. But that leaves us with a pretty much bang on, in fact, it is bang on 4,000 gold difference. 9-5 in kills, 3-0 in turrets as well for the Wolves.
And the thing was, is that they got an ace, they got 2 turrets off of that, so they just got so much gold into their pockets to spend. Next time they come back for a fight, they're going to be that much stronger and that much more deadly. It's just Singed being a Singed. I had another word in mind, but I decided not use it.
Annoying.
That is more of a safe word to say, yes.
To say the least, as we see once again, and now Deficio coming up. Actually, the roots will miss. Freddy gets back to the safety of his turret there, but you just see the pressure. I mean, 141 to 143 CS. It's very, very even. Freddy done a good job of ignoring Godbro as much as he can, but that Singed is always going to get farmed. It's very hard to just stop it, you know, to out-farm the Singed, because he will just run rings around you all day and just keep going and going.
And Wolves with a beautiful transition right now, putting pressure onto this top lane. We have Varus and Syndra heading towards the middle, so either they can push down towards that inhibitor turret and pretty much make it so they can get the top and make Against All Authority respond to it, or they're going to get a free inhibitor turret off of it. They have a lot of damage in those 2 champions that they could take on anyone that comes at them that currently isn't in the top side of the map. So it's beautifully well played, and this is what the Wolves kind of needed to work on, and they're showing that they kind of have, and you know, hopefully they'll prove it with their first win right here.
Well, don't jinx them just yet, Jason.
I was like, crap, I shouldn't have said that. But in the bot lane, we do have Bjergsen chasing down Nono.
Well, we see the engagement coming in here on the top as well. Godbro going to take damage, but here comes the test from the side. The knockup gets 2. Svenskeren takes down Corellius. Virtual's down to less than half, and there are 4 men going to be hammering away on him. He's not going to escape. This is the Tess who picks it up. He's unstoppable at 504. He was tanking the turret as Slayer and Bjergsen going to go head-to-head. He misses the shockwave, and Bjergsen smells an opportunity as he chases in there. Slayer gets that speed boost out, but the stun lands from Bjergsen. Can he keep going? Command protect down. Can Slayer get away from this one? Bjergsen going in there again. Can he land it though? That's the question. One more hit and he decides, I just can't quite finish it off. I don't have the mana, as he's going to flash in there anyway. And well, nicely done. What can we say? Bjergsen.
He just 1v2'd right there. He pretty much just 1v2'd. He 1v1 Nono, and then Schleyer came in. And even if he didn't get that kill, he was stalling Schleyer long enough for the rest of his team to get 2 turrets in the top lane right now, Joe. This gold lead is 7,000 at this point, and they have the Tess, who, you know, over these past few weeks, we've talked about how he just hasn't been the Tess we know. He hasn't been that impressive, but right now he's showing that on this Varus, he really is a force to reckon with.
Yeah, he is looking so good right now, and see that Singed Giant's Belt blasting one. He is going for that Crystal Scepter. Good old Troll Singed build. Love a bit of that. And, you know, they're just looking really good at this point. 33.5 to 26.8 thousand gold. 13.5 up in kills. 5-0 in turrets, which is also a big thing to look at. But I don't want to kind of poop on the party right now, but we've seen Wolves have leads before, which they've not been able to convert. Have we seen them have one this big? Pretty much we have, and they messed it up there as well.
Yeah, I want to be careful in the words I use here not to jinx it, but they have the potential to burst down anyone on the team at this point. If Bjergsen unloads his full combo on a Schleyer or Nono or Corrales, they will die. That's just it. That's just the fact. The Tess as well, who's 5-0-4 at this point, if he adds in any sort of damage, any sort of crowd control, there's just no way you're going to escape from that. Then you have, you know, obviously Singed and Vi running around, and then you have Deficio on Zyra, who has an amazing ultimate so far, amazing roots, that's just been locking you down. So against Authority, they have to kind of build a little bit tanky, but they have to be very careful in the position of all of these fights.
Yeah, but a few moments ago we were looking at the outer turret and how they were managing to take it down. Now the inner turret's gone in this top lane as well. And Godbro continues to push. Now that Nono's coming across though, they may be able to do something about it, but best advice ever.
I don't think they can stop him.
Chase the Singed.
Like even these two, I'm pretty sure Godbro can just tank them.
Goes flash Singed. Like,
and he's fed.
Don't catch him ever.
Especially when he gets his
scepter,
yeah. There's just, and he's just being a terror. He's just pushing that top lane while the rest of his team, well, I was about to say the rest of the team pushes down the middle, but we still have Bjergsen split pushing, and this might come back to bite him in the butt, but he does have teleport, so if they do want to go for that engage, he will come in like at that dragon fight and just dominate.
Well, Virtual is headed down there now. Svenskeren is already in position. Actually, he's going to Vault Breaker his way in there on towards Virtual. Here comes Deficio and the Tess around the side. They manage to land the route onto Slayer. Here comes the ultimate out of Zyra. He gets destroyed. The Tess is dominating, and it's not over yet. Virtual's being hammered away at. Bjergsen will become unstoppable as well at 6-2-2. This is another inner turret for Copenhagen Wolves.
And they're just picking them off one by one. Against Authority seems to be making all the wrong moves at the wrong points. Schleyer getting caught. I mean, they had a ward there. They had Copenhagen Wolves coming in from the side. They knew they were going to see that, and now they're going for this inhibitor turret, and with 3 members of Against Authority to defend it, I'm pretty sure they can take it.
Slice and dice away there by Renekton from that route. That could have spelled disaster for him, but either way, Copenhagen Wolves are hammering onto that inhibitor turret. Can they finish it off? They will finish it off as Bjergsen keeps going here on towards Nono. And he got Bro coming around the side, flashes in, gets the flip. Nono's going to die from this one. Now they've locked Freddy down as well. Can he get away? Ultimate comes out of Virtual. There's the shockwave to pick up a kill in the end. But to be honest, I'm not sure it's going to be enough here. Godbro is still in there, still poisoning them up. Schleyer goes down to the Test, and they're still going. Virtual, the new target from this one. In the meantime, the inhibitor itself is being attacked by Copenhagen Wolves. They lost 2 for 1 in that one, and I said that Schleyer got a kill. I don't think he actually did. Someone else finished off Bjergsen in the end. But what a push, what a set of pushes there coming out of the Wolves.
And with how hungry the Wolves are at this point, they can smell the blood. They want to get that first one. They have almost a 10,000 goal lead at this point. And you just saw, Godbro couldn't be touched. We had Miss Nono in the backside. They just flash on top of him, pop the ghost, throw him into the rest of his team. We had Bjergsen doing an amazing job with zoning. He was killed, and unfortunately did give away a killing spree. But you know, honestly, at this point, you just got your team an inhibitor off of it. So you gave him 500 gold, but you got an inhibitor. You have that pressure of the bot lane, and now Baron is open for you to take if you want to. And it's always that decision. It's always like 50-50. You know, do we want to go for it and kind of secure an easy push, or do we want to potentially give Against Authority it and then get them back in the game?
Well, we just saw Varus go back with 3,000 gold. BF Sword picked up. He's obviously got the Static Shiv in there, Bloodthirster in there. Got that pickaxe picked up in it as well. We've got Singe now with the Crystal Scepter, just picked up a Warden's Mail as well.
A Warden's Mail. So if you hit him, you're not only slowed from his poison, but you're also going to be slowed from the item.
True troll Singe, Bill.
I know Joe's sitting there smiling from cheek to cheek, just so happy to see that.
That's it. Loves it. I mean, if you're going in there with Ghost and Flash with Singed, you already know what you're going to do in that game anyway. But up until now, can't take it away from Wolves. They've got a 10k gold lead. They're winning 7-0 on turrets. Against Authority, not had a single turret kill up until now. That may change as Freddy, well, he's in no man's land, I think we can call it here. As Godbro going to fling him back over. There goes the shockwave. Bullet time coming in. Freddy is actually still alive, but surely for not long as Varus comes in around the side. The Test going to be hammered on by Virtual here as they focus around onto Nono. Svenskeren in trouble. He's going to flash away, but will die in the end. It's a 2 for 2 with Virtual very, very low. He's going to flash away. Slayer flashes away. Godbro comes around the side. How do you want to escape that? Flips him into the rest of the team. The Test is legendary, and Singe is not done just yet. He's going to chase down Slayer here. Doesn't have Ghost, doesn't have his ultimate up. He's got his slow though, and he's going to keep going. There's the fling back in, and he's going to auto attack, keep that poison running. Is he going to have enough damage? No, he's not.
I was actually thinking Schleyer was going to die there, but it seemed like he was wasting his time, but it doesn't matter.
That's what Singe does brilliantly as well, just time wasting.
And at this point, I mean, by keeping Schleyer there, he couldn't back, he couldn't heal up. He doesn't have home guard boots, so he obviously wouldn't heal up quickly and get back in there, but it gave him a free inhibitor, and Copenhagen Wolves, they're very close to losing that, but they're so lucky that the Test is so fed, and Deficio had that Oracle to clear out that vision and give him that positional advantage in that fight.
Well, we've got Bro down here. Copenhagen Wolves not going to do anything risky. They're backing away. There is actually a blue buff for the taking here, and Bjergsen is going to be the one to take it. The Test is currently 9-0-5. What a game. After we said last week, in the qualifiers, he was amazing. He'd not really shown it up until now, but my gosh, has he turned it on here today. He is looking so, so good. And Wolves, they look like a completely different team at this point. You can expect that they're going to be cautious about finishing this game out. They don't want to throw it at this point. That would be like the most heartbreaking thing, I think, at this stage of the tournament. Obviously, 0 for 9. They don't want to hit that 0 for 10 mark. However, you know, 2 inhibitors down. They're up to the inhibitor turret in the top lane. This is really their game to lose.
It really is indeed. I mean, everyone on their team is playing so well, and whether we're going to attribute that to having time to finally sit down and train together and practice and prepare for this, or just that they're finally realizing, you know, we're tired of losing. We want to win one, and they're just coming out just marvelously in this game.
And it's even bigger troll singe when his ultimate sound is on the entire time, just to throw you off even more. As we see against Authority actually coming in, good route. Here comes Godbro, thought about getting in there for the fling. It looks like Copenhagen Wolves might be interested in having a go with this one. Is he going to get the fling? It's virtually thrown to the side. Freddy gets a Lulu ultimate down on him as the Zyra ulti knocks them all in the air. Slayer being absolutely destroyed as Fence Current comes in as well. There was the Lulu ultimate. It wasn't used earlier on. Bjergsen is going to kill Virtual though. Freddy going low. Nigod Bro going low. No, he's finished off. Corellius and Freddy are the only 2 men left alive here. Godbro is still somehow alive in this one as he flings Freddy away again.
Can we see a
Quadra kill? Can he get the pentakill here? Bjergsen chasing down. Oh, he's missing just about, but there's pentakill coming in for Bjergsen, and Copenhagen Wolves are going to push through here and pick up their first victory in the LCS Europe after starting 9 for 0 or 0 for 9. They now pick up their first win. Much deserved victory here. They have played absolutely brilliantly, and if there's a look of relief that I've ever seen, that is it right there. They are so relieved after that one. But their season really starts now. That was 1 win that they've got out of 10 games. It's not a done deal by any point. They've got 1 win. They've still got a long road ahead of them, but that's how you start it off.
Yeah, with the way they played, they completely deserve that. And also, I think it was our first pentakill in Europe, and I don't want to know about North America, but overall, that was just so amazing, well played. I mean, we saw the test go down very early on, but still, just their teamwork, it really shined through right there, and they got their first win of the entire season.
Well, if I'd have said 6 months ago to you, we're going to see a Syndra pentakill in Season 3, you'd probably be like, you are mad, bro. But, you know, that's exactly how it went down in the end. The test finishing 9-1-5 as well. At the end of it, there's Bjergsen who's like, yeah, no problem, guys. I got this one sorted. No worries. So that's enough for us here at the commentary desk. We're going to throw it over to Demon, Quickshot, and Ocelot to break down what was a thrilling matchup.
And to coin an American phrase, ladies and gentlemen, that was off the hook! Wolves finally got a win!
You even put the boys, man, the tone.
I was excited as Joe was for that one. I was actually cheering and celebrating when they were landing the shots. The test played brilliantly. Bjergsen was landing the balls. And that whole bullfight, it was like France versus Denmark Football World Cup match right there between Syndra and Oriana. It was fantastic to see.
It was very good to see. And the mid lane fights were very awesome. The bot lane fights were very awesome. The game was pretty awesome to watch overall. And finally,
the Wolves won. Nobody wanted to be the team that lost, though, so I kind of feel for against all authorities. But yeah, you guys can relax now.
But does that mean you're going to have red hair at Siebert?
Well, yes, he's got to lose. He's got to win 4-0. Yeah.
Got to get there first.
He's got to get 4 games first. But let's go through the picks and bans to start with. Anything surprisingly there? The main thing for me is the fact they actually banned Corellius' Sona. And which is he's kind of forced him to play a different support, which I don't think he's ever done. He's played 100% Sona so far.
Yeah, but that is kind of tricky, because if you know he's gonna play Sona, you can actually counter it, which is what we did. So
yeah, so I mean, is it a case of? But then again, I don't know. Would a Crescendo turn things? Because it's a pretty big ulti.
Crescendo is really broken, and it can turn out fights. Like if you engage with Crescendo, it works. If you counter engage with Crescendo, it works. If you want to make them be defensive with Crescendo, it works. Crescendo is really broken.
Well, and I want to get straight to it, because we're talking about Crescendo, and it plays a really big point in our replay. Yeah, well, you know, if they'd had it, that would have turned it.
Let's jump into the matchup. You know, we've got a replay here. It's probably one of the big turning points. But leading up to this, you know, the Copenhagen Wolves, they kept making plays. They kept trying to pick up kills and everywhere. But it was really, this was the key turning point. It was a dragon fight. Against All Authority started it, pulled the dragon out the pit, and, you know, Copenhagen Wolves collapsed on them. So talk us through this one.
So here we are in Drake, typical Drake fight. Both teams are positioned the right way. Probably Copenhagen Wolves has the advantage. They got Oriana, I mean, AA has Oriana. Right now it's like a perfect ultimate, but it doesn't happen. So this is kind of a mess, if you ask me. And there we go, Syndra, people packed. That's basically it, Syndra and Varus.
Now take a look at this right here. You can see the teleport that's coming in from Bjergsen, and this is really what sort of turned the tide of this. Bjergsen's Syndra play, his positioning, he's dodging on the skill shots. Talk us through his positioning and his play.
So here we are, Varus is doing insane damage and insane CC with the ultimate, as we can see, and there we go with Bjergsen. Everybody's kind of low, to be honest, to be fair, but he lands his skill shots quite good. So good play by the whole team, let's say. And of course, by then, the test was pretty fair. And we noticed it right here, which I think, yeah, exactly. He did a triple kill, and he literally wrecked them with the ultimate. Like, the ultimate literally wrecked them. Was so much CC, like, extremely much CC. Everybody's so packed. I think the ultimate every second and a half or something goes to another person. It's just crazy. You just don't move.
Yeah, and what do you think of Syndra? I mean, we've seen obviously Link in North America playing it, and now Bjergsen. That's the second time we've seen Bjergsen play it. Yeah, well, actually, I think you guys banned it against him, maybe.
No, we didn't know.
Who was it? So someone played him this morning. Somebody banned him this morning.
I think it was Froggen. I think it was EE. I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you make Syndra so far? I mean, how do you see
Syndra has one of the most broken laning phases of the game. People don't know that, but Syndra's laning phase is really broken. And when it comes into team fights, it really depends on how fed your tanks are. So if you got a really strong front lane that is really tanky, you're free to do everything. But if you don't have it, if somehow your team is a little bit behind, you're not gonna pull out any stuff. Like, because people just can go on you and you will just die because you rely on hitting your skills and being focused on hitting your skills.
Is it quite high pressure to land them skill shots? Because obviously you need a lot of control for Syndra.
It is hard, especially in those kind of matches, which everybody is actually pretty aware of the fact that you got a skill shot and they have to avoid them. So yeah, indeed, it's really extremely hard.
Well, we're not going to hang around here. We did have, of course, MVP for the match. It was the pentakill master, Bjergsen. Fantastic performance from him. And honestly, he's only 17. He's just come into the team just last week. This is his second week going. And we talked about this, the fact that they're all talking in Danish. Honestly, we could have given it to the test as well. We actually had it as the test before that pentakill. And when we're like, well, he's just turned a fantastic fight around.
Pentakill is just how it needs to be.
Yeah, and it was a good pentakill as well. It wasn't one of these cases, he got lucky. He kind of deserved
it was
that
a well-earned
pentakill.
Yeah, he did a lot of damage.
The test got blown up as soon as that fight began. Zinnerenekton just dove straight onto the test, removed him from the fight. Because they focused so much on that back line, Bjergsen was just there on the side. He just got every single ability off, continually throwing creeps on those dark spheres over and over and over, and it was a really, really well-earned pentakill.
Well, thank you very much, Ocelot, for joining us. So that is it from here on the analyst desk. Of course,
it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much for Aaron. So also, we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him, so apologies to...
I love you, Aaron.
Apologies to Alvar. So we are going to get across to the main stage, of course, and see who is with Shox from the Copenhagen Wolves.
The applause just doesn't stop here for the Copenhagen Wolves. I'm here with Bjergsen. Bjergsen, you were crowned MVP, but your entire team stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, all of my team played really well this game. We didn't do anything out of the ordinary, but at least we didn't make as many bad plays as we've done in some of the other matches. We played pretty stable, and I'm glad we could actually do that for once.
Okay, of course, people were waiting for you to come back and show us something, and you did, a pentakill. Tell us about that matchup, Syndra-Orianna.
Syndra-Orianna is actually a really skilled matchup. Both of the champions have a lot of skill shots. Syndra usually wins out, in my opinion, but since I had teleport, I actually missed out on 2 kills on her. And I died a couple of times to Xin Zhao, 2 times, I think, because I was kind of tunnel visioning. I didn't really play that well in the lane, but I really like that matchup. It's a lot of fun to play.
Okay, now coming into this match, you were, of course, at home for the longest time. You're watching your team. How did you practice with them at all then, or were they just focused on the team lineup they had?
I practiced with my team only if Coutard couldn't, but that was like 2 times or so. So I actually didn't play with my team at all. I just focused a lot on streaming. That was what I really focused on doing at the time. Yeah.
People say you play best with your backs against a wall, but was there anything going on in the team? Maybe you felt motivation dropping or a little bit worse atmosphere?
We felt like this was a match we had to win. We could have won the match last week against AAA, but we made some mistakes, and we felt like this was really the match we had to win. So we felt kind of pressured because of the 0-9, but yeah, we managed to pull through.
You pulled through, indeed. What are you focusing on for your next matches? Not to win more. I'm going to give it a positive spin, absolutely.
We're moving into Germany next week, so we'll be focusing a lot on practicing. We'll practice very hard, so hopefully we can win a lot of matches soon.
Okay, absolutely. Finally, how was the pressure coming into this couple of weeks ago? Last week, actually, your first performance here. Only 17.
Yeah. I hadn't played with my team for, I don't know, like a month or 2 months, and then I played 2 days with them, and then we had to go to Cologne. So I really felt a lot of pressure because I didn't really know. Because, of course, they improved and they changed their play styles and such. So, yeah, I felt a lot of pressure, but, yeah, it went all right.
Went all right, went really good. Congratulations once again, and thank you, Björksen. Now, that's it for the interview part. We're going to go over to Joe and Jason for a recap of today's games.
Well, today, Jason, I can safely say has been a crazy, off-the-hook, mental, insane day of action. Of course, a marathon as well. Whilst we've gone through it, as my voice decides to cut out, I think it's time to stop with that. But let's have a look at least through what we've seen today already. The results of our 8 games. Starting with the first 4 here, where we saw Gambit taking down Dragonborns and SK Gaming getting the win against All Authority.
And of course, Fnatic taking the win over the Giants, and Evil Geniuses taking, the next loss of the Wolves, but obviously they will redeem themselves a little bit later, as you'll see.
Yeah, and the second 4 results that we saw, which is obviously capped by that final victory there. SK Gaming taking down Ozone Giants. They're only 3 wins away this weekend from Ocelot's hair turning red. Fnatic taking down Dragonborns as well.
And Evil Geniuses is going head-to-head against Gambit Gaming, where Gambit just pulled out with that victory. That was obviously an amazing game. And then the Wolves, you saw right there, ending that game in their first win with that pentakill, Joe.
Yeah, really amazing play. And we actually have the standings as well. The guys behind the scenes are being hard at work, you know, changing everything up and making sure that at the end of the first day here on the Super Weekend, we can show you how the table stands. So let's take a look at that one. See that Fnatic right at the top there with 7 wins and 1 loss. Gambit with 6 for 2, EG with 6 for 3, and SK on 5 for 3.
And of course, it's always good to see that first victory for the Wolves, but unfortunately, they have a lot of work cut out for them. They're still the bottom of the bracket. But you know what? After what we saw today, I think they can do it.
Well, they've shown us before this, we've said this time and time again, after every loss, that they've not been really totally outplayed. Yes, they've lost the game at the end, which means technically they've been outplayed, but they've shown some very promising signs. Today, they really turned on the pressure.
Yeah, and that's honestly, that's like the best way to end day 1 of the Super Week, is the Wolves getting their first victory and honestly probably gaining a lot of fans out there.
Yeah, they certainly did. I think the Twitch chat was probably going crazy there at the end. I know the audience here in the studio were, so they'll have gained some fans, and especially with that pentakill. But either way, that's it from us here in the studio. I'd like to say thanks from me and from Jason, of course, from Aranea, from Ocelot, and from Quickshot and Demon. We're going to go over to the stage one last time with Shox to finish off the day.
Thank you. What an atmosphere here in the studio to close off the day with Copenhagen Wolves grabbing their first victory. I think everybody was happy about that. AAA probably not that much, but there's still 12 more games to come over the weekend, starting with 6 tomorrow. We start an hour earlier than usual at 5 p.m. Central European Time. We're going to start off the day with Fnatic versus the Copenhagen Wolves, and followed by EG versus Against All Authority, followed by Fnatic versus Gambit. Next up, it's going to be Giants versus the Dragonborns, SK Gaming versus the Copenhagen Wolves, and Gambit versus Against All Authority. Another great matches to look out for tomorrow. For now, thanks from all of us here in the studio, and thanks to you for tuning in to our show. Tomorrow, the action starts at 5 p.m. Central European Time. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. See you then.